This is the translation of the third Samayik clip on Abhipray. Abhipray means opinions. And this is on dadabhagwan.tv. At the bottom there is the Samayik with a new. So here goes the translation now. This is about a 19-minute clip. Abhipray, this is from Aptavani 4, Parayan of 2010. This was discussed in detail. This is a special clip of it. And let us talk about opinions only. This is all new and hot talk about it. There is a lot about it, says Deepak Bhai. Let us talk about, we had talked about the sticky file in the morning. Did everybody had increased awareness because of the Samayik that followed? How to become close with other human beings through clearing off the mistakes within in Samayik. Now let us take this. Let us talk about vibrations. Yeah, what do you want to say? Yeah, what? Okay, so Deepak was listening to somebody. Now he comes back to supposing a person appears good to us because there is the merit karma of his and yours that is unfolding. That is why it's a pleasant relationship. And when unpleasant relationships unfold, somebody is asking a question, then he appears, then it is due to the demerit karma. This person, gentleman, he's saying that supposing we are involved with somebody who is deaf and mute, and what Deepak says, he still has the ego and the intellect, even though he may be deaf and mute or severely mentally challenged. But his intellect is there within. He will finish. His intellect and ego are separate only. But he has his intellect and ego will be going on, even though he is not seeing anything or registering any conversations or sounds. He will continue to have opinions, and so he will finish off the punishment in this life, and then he'll come back to baseline where he will have his original faculties back. Because of excess mistakes that happened because of anger, greed, deceit and pride in the previous life, he got punished with a lack of sight or sound comprehension in this life, and he will finish that punishment in this life and go back to baseline. We have the Gandhiji's 3 statues of don't see anything bad, don't hear anything bad, don't speak anything bad. Deepak Bhai says that is some kind of a bhakti, that is a devotion. But our intentions are that with our opinions is that with the exception of Dada and the S capital self, we do not want to go or harbor any kind of opinions about anything else in life. If when you are going towards Mumbai from here, from Ahmedabad, do you have any negativity towards the city of Jamnagar or any other city? We just leave them alone. When is it called an entrenched opinions? This life is not worth it at all. One should never get married. Women are terrible, etc. These kind of opinions are terrible. Yes, yeah. For me, my intention is that I want to become free from all of this. This is my new opinion. So this is my new opinion-free life. So now. Let us talk about speech. The speech, how we speak with others. What are our opinions behind that speech? In this morning we talked. Now let us talk about individuals. Why is negative speech coming out about any human being? There is a negative opinion behind it. That means our ego must have been hurt in some way or the other prior to that. If I believe that I am superior, I am good, I am better, then there will be an automatic negative feeling for that other person. So it is on the basis of my ego that this is happening. If my ego is being nurtured, then I have positive feelings and good opinions about him. If I have negative opinions about, if my ego has been hurt, then I will have negative opinions about the other person. The original cause about the opinions towards anyone is based on how my ego has been nurtured or kicked. So, on that basis, I do not want to really have any kind of negative feelings with anyone from here onwards. So the intellect will continue to divide you from the other person, cause divisiveness if you hang on to your opinions. And so when dvesh arises, abhorrence arises, or negativity arises, then wrong words will arise towards a human being. And we want to clear that off completely. We do not want to harbor any kind of negative opinions whereby wrong words arise for anyone in this life. If somebody has a wrong belief, that is his viewpoint and his belief. We do not need to really challenge it or really topple it or to disturb it. And this happens only when you remain in our own Gnan Jagruti, the awareness of the self. So investigate where wrong words are arising within you through this mouth about anyone, and find out if your greed is being fed, then your speech will be positive. If your greed is being disturbed, then you will have negative speech towards him. If your pride, if your sexuality is being nurtured, then it will have positive words. If it is being hurt. So any kind of hurt to the ego, which is at the bottom of these four kashayas, anger, greed, deceit and pride, will cause opinions which will then somehow express through thoughts, speech and actions. And right now we are going to focus on speech only. And so from the speech, we are going to go back towards what is the underlying reason for it and what are the opinions and why are the opinions created, because the ego was not appropriately nurtured according to expectations. This is the track. If you have wrong speech towards children, husband, close people, neighbors, etc., where are we having negative words about anyone? That is because you believe that I am something great, I am the greatest, etc. The one who believes he is the greatest will have negative speech for everyone. He has got a contemptuous attitude in speech towards everyone. So this is the pride that is acting up within that person. It is his enemy of pride is very dominant within him. So no, we want to have such speech that it will not hurt any living being to the slightest extent. That should be our awakened awareness. And sooner or later we will have to have arrived at that level. And so how will we know that? We will have to review our own speech. I was listening to Niruma in satsang today on TV. So the one girl says, I am hurting somebody like this thing. If I walk on grass, I hurt a living being. She was a Jain, staunch Jain. Niruma did not disturb her beliefs to the slightest extent. Listened to her for a long time. At the end, she told, just come into the awareness of the self very slowly without disturbing her level of her balance of that woman's viewpoints to the slightest extent. Niruma gave her such beautiful answers. And so if you can listen to the Q&A sessions with Niruma, you can learn a lot. If somebody says, I do meditations, then he says, yeah, that's fine. Somebody says he's going to this particular spiritual, yes, that's fine. There is no need to disturb his beliefs and his viewpoints. But make sure you do not hurt anybody's viewpoint to the slightest extent. And this can only be understood when we can see what, in opposition to the hurtful speech, what is helpful speech, what is speech that does not hurt. Otherwise, he will establish a link of grudge with you. And so once he gets onto the link of grudge with you, then one negative speech will continue to the more negative speech. Therefore, we need to have the fifth column where I do not want to use any hurtful speech, any speech that is laden with grudges and ongoing grudge, and against that let me reply softly and kindly. and so let me not hurt anyone through this speech of. And so if anyone is hurt, then let me do pratikraman and pratyakhyan for it, a direct apology and reversal from apology, reversal from aggression, and also the decision never to hurt anyone again. So from only single word you can create so many. And so a single word uttered at the wrong time can create such major wars. He says, in other words, it can cause a grave wound on the heart. Even the wrong word at the wrong time can hurt a human being so terribly that it can carry on for us. They will just, he talked about me, and he or she becomes your enemy for a long time. Either we can do it we are doing it directly, or we are doing it indirectly in the absence of the other person. And when this happens in the absence of them, so we should have the awakened awareness, where we have the awakened awareness on every word that comes out through this mouth and on through this throat and tongue. So even Dada's example is there, that there was the occasion of Hiraba's, somebody getting married on Hiraba's side of the family, and so what shall we give? So Dada said, give this silver plates that we have in the closet, and that immediately corrected himself, says no, in addition give 500, because he knew it would have created problems. And it would have created a divisiveness, because she says, oh, when my side of the family gets married, only this much, and when your side of the family gets married, you give so much more. So this is the kind of awakened awareness that is there even before the words are uttered, or even as they are happening. This is the spirituality in speech. This is the awakened awareness. Let us take the Samayik now, so that we can, from the speech and the words, and the conversation that happens with a person, with that or with anyone, what are the wrong words, and what is the basis of those wrong words, and what is the underlying hunger of the ego on the wrong word, what is the kashaya within, that is the operational within, and what are the opinions that have been formed on the basis of those kashayas, and how do we wipe off those kashayas and those opinions. This is a very major necessity for all of us, within that who are close to us, and those who are our spiritual colleagues, those who are doing the same kind of work on of Jagat Kalyan for Dada, etc. But even if somebody is overtly and openly negative in his speech, at that time you must make sure that you not miss to see his pure soul, you don't see the self, do not miss to see the self in him, and to make sure that he is not to brand him as the culprit, but he is the doer. The doer is never at fault, it's a sufferer who is always at fault. See it in precision. Then Deepak Bhai gives an example of a young lady who was arguing with Niruma and complaining a lot about her mother. Niruma listened to her patiently for a long time, for almost 20 minutes. Dimple knows about it. And then subsequently Niruma said so very beautifully that, do you know what kind of, my dear lady, do you know what kind of beautiful feelings your mom has about you? She has told me about it. What did he say? So now Dimple takes over. And she had a lot of negativity about her mother, and Niruma just uttered 4 or 5 words that totally turned her around. When Niruma started talking with the positive feelings that the mother had in contrast to the daughter, about the daughter, then it made a phenomenal change, and this girl really improved. So now, why don't you say it, Dimple? So Dimple essentially confirming now. And this is, he says, for 4 or 5 sessions she was complaining about her mother only, this young woman. Niruma knew about it. Niruma said that it may seem that way, but do you know how much love and positive feelings your mother has about you, my young lady, my dear lady? And now she remembers down the line that I remember how Niruma in a few words turned me around from such major difficulties with my mother. So you see, so there, even if the third round, when the talk is about the third person, you have to be very skillful in employing the positive approach and at least bring out the process. So even if you have a kind of a fixed opinion about somebody in your entire life about somebody, that needs to be wiped off. If you have if once you have, Dada has said that if I have nurtured a plant and if I have to build a railway line, I would move the railway line but not cut the plant. If you have this kind of understanding, if you have had good opinions about somebody, then if you hear anything negative about that same person, make sure that you employ this particular approach of the railway line and the young plant. And so in the Samayik, let us find out in our life where we have spoken anything negative in our entire life about anyone, and find out the underlying opinions that we have about it, what were the reasons behind it, what were the opinions, the abhipraya behind it, and to correct them. Let us do the Samayik this evening. O Dada Bhagwan, dear Lord within me, O dear Lord Simandar Swami, Prabhu, with the exact applied awareness of the pure self, with anyone else, in worldly interactions, any wrong words that have come out, wrong sentences that have come out, wrong speech that has been expressed, at that time, the inner opinions, what kind they are, let me recognize them and become free from having any kind of opinions about anyone else, and let me do such a Samayik. Grant me the energies, and not to have any wrongful speech with anyone. Let me have the awakened awareness. Grant me that energy, my Lord. And up until this point, any hurtful speech that has arisen, let me see the opinions that are there underlying that. Let me see them as they are, and let me become free from them. I surrender the mind, speech and body, all illusions associated with my name, Bhav karma, charge karma, Dravya karma, subtle discharge karma, no karma, gross discharge karma. O Dada Bhagwan, my Lord within, I surrender them unto Thy divine feet. Hum Shuddhatma chu, hum Shuddhatma chu, hum Shuddhatma chu, 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 Shuddhatma chu. Jai Sachidanand, Jai Sachidanand.